Yes, good evening everyone. So this is the second session for the ED lecture, right? And today's topic, violence in Manipur, threat to internal security of India. Alright, so yes, we have posted some links in the comment box. You can refer to that also, and we are trying to provide you some short notes also, although it is faculty wise efforts. Okay, so you can see the one page note that we have prepared for such kind of issues that are there in current affairs. I wanted to highlight this. Why? Because see, we are providing 4-5 page or 6 page material for EDs, and when we are reading that, after that you are expected to make 1 page note out of that particular booklet. Okay, and I'm just giving you idea how to make that 1 page. It looks like this, and from current affairs, in past also several times I have highlighted this. From mains perspective, you should have such 1 page notes for each and every issue. Why? See, we are not able to revise all these bulky booklets just before the examination. Okay, it will be time consuming also, and there will be lot of jargons in that booklet. ठीक है, बहुत सारा elaborative statements होगा, बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी होगी जो जरूरी नहीं है हमारे लिए, and that's why such kind of 1 page note will be helpful for multiple revisions, pinpointed content and multiple revisions. Now for this, like causes behind the violence that has happened in the Manipur, I'm writing only key terms or key words here. I will be able to elaborate them in the examination if I remember them. Okay, so that's why you should prepare such kind, like basics. In the answer also you are going to write in such box basics, article numbers, any particular law or relevant legal provisions, constitutional provisions. Why don't we write that in the notes itself कि current affairs में जो issue चल रहा है उससे related basics क्या है here itself. So in answer automatically that will be reproduced. Okay, so that's why such kind of notes are very important. And what happens is, many times you are reading the newspaper by yourself, you are reading the editorials, and you are pointing out some important data. You can mention that data here, somewhere here, like make a box here and you can mention that. Simply here, if I am writing Métis, so more than 50% of the population in the Manipur Métis community, you can mention that here. So such kind of facts you can mention. Along with that, some unique kind of way forward proposed by experts in those editorial articles. When I am writing way forward here, you can mention that unique way forward that will be unique to your answer. ठीक है, आपके आंसर में वो यूनिक रहेगा, नहीं तो बाकी सारे लोग जो है सेम चीज लिख रहे हैं. Okay, although we are providing you that booklet, but what I would suggest, in addition to that booklet, when you are reading newspaper on daily basis and you are reading this, let's say this topic is there, violence in Manipur, so you are reading this continuously since last 1 month. बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स एक्सपर्ट्स ने लिखे हुए हैं, वहां पे कहीं ना कहीं आपको यूनिक वे फॉरवर्ड सजेशंस, मेजर्स टू कंट्रोल दैट वायलेंस दे हैव सजेस्टेड. यू कैन ऐड दैट इन योर नोट्स. Getting this? So I will be trying to provide such kind of 1 page note by myself in my topic. Also I would recommend other faculties also to provide such kind of ready-made 1 page. आजकल तो स्पून फीडिंग का टाइम आ गया है मैक्सिमम स्टूडेंट्स का, तो ठीक है, जैसे तैसे सब रेडीमेड ही मिल रहा है मार्केट में, ये भी मिल रहा होगा शायद मार्केट में. ठीक है, तो बट I'm telling you, when you make notes by yourself, already you are doing this for or reading that content for 3-4 times. आप एक बार पढ़ते हैं, दूसरी बार रिवाइज करते हैं, तीसरी बार आप लिखते वक्त भी आप वो चीज सोच रहे होते हैं. So everything you are actually getting that, and when you are taking these notes from the market directly, तो किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट से लिखा है वो पॉइंट, उसको एलाबरेट कैसे करना है, ये सब आप भूल जाएंगे, नहीं याद रहेगा. And that's why from mains perspective you should prepare current affairs notes like this. Okay, let's talk about today's topic now, violence in Manipur. So yes, you are following this particular let's say unfortunate events that are happening there, context, basics, and thereafter we can talk about causes or causing factors, factors responsible, thereafter consequences, analysis of the issue, way forward, conclusion. See, I will be taking internal security related, environment, geography and disaster management related topics from the current affairs. You know my name, right? Yes. So my name is Laxmikant and I am associated with Lukmaan IAS since last 5-6 years. Okay, and I am dealing with geography, environment section, internal security part, disaster management. Okay, so see, my strategy to learn something for your examination is, you need to read everything in a pinpointed manner. सारी चीज planned way में करनी चाहिए, structured way में. And I will be teaching you all these articles in a structured way like this. Okay, because there should be content that you are going to write in the answer. Whatever I am teaching, आपको लिखने आना चाहिए और question इसी से बनेंगे. Discuss the reasons behind the violence in Manipur. How this threatens the internal security of India. How it poses the challenge for internal security in India. इस तरीके से क्वेश्चन बनेंगे तो आपको यहां से डायरेक्ट कंटेंट मिलेगा. Fine. So context and the developments, we are aware that what has happened in the Manipur. Let's talk about some important developments there. In April 2023, what happened is Manipur High Court had given one ruling and it has asked the state government to look into ST status, scheduled tribe status to Meitei community. Now, before going into further developments, you should be knowing the composition of population in Manipur. Okay, communities, what kind of communities are living there? Yes. So Meiteis, if we talk about the three prominent communities that are making the majority of, let's say, population communities in Manipur, first is Meiteis, and these Meiteis are making more than 50% of the population and they are living in plains. Okay. So, hill living people and plains living people. This is actually the difference that is there. And Meiteis are having the majority of the population, they are living in the plains in the dense population manner. Okay, dense population में वो plains में रहता है. Second is Kukis. Okay. And third one is Nagas. So, these both are hill living communities. And उनका population comparatively कम है. First thing. Second thing, the area. Plains are less in area in Manipur. Hills are more in area. Okay. So land that is there for Kukis and Nagas, ये ज़्यादा है as compared to Meiteis. Population इनका ज़्यादा है तो इनके पास land कम है, resource. Okay. So this is one of the reasons, scarcity of resource. We will talk about that. But now you are understanding the composition of. Now here there are ethnic and cultural differences between these. Okay. Ethnic differences between Kukis and Nagas also. Okay. Kuki Chins, they belong to, we can say that one particular group of people or ethnicity. Okay. And they have a similar kind of ethnicity across the border also. Chins जिसको बोला गया है. Chins in Myanmar. I am going to give context of this also while analyzing this, क्योंकि अभी refugees जो आए थे चिन्स के, Chin refugees, they were allowed to cross the border and live in the Myanmar. That was also one of the factor that Meitei protested there. Cookies were also protesting against this already scarce resources composition of the community. Now you have understood this. Now, ST status that has been already given to cookies. Now, if suppose the Metis are also given ST status, cookies were feeling insecure. Why insecure? Because as Metis are more in population and their representation in the government is already very high as compared to cookies and Nagas. Administration, representation, administration, state administration, and giving them such ST status will increase more and more representation of Metis as compared to cookies. Now this is some kind of insecurity. Okay, and that's why in protest of this decision on 3rd May 2023, there is Cookie Solidarity March organized by Cookie community on 3rd May across the Manipur. Okay, and what happens in this march? Violence breaks. Okay. So what happens is some of the antisocial elements from the Meitei community, they actually burn one of the war memorial, Anglo-Cookie war memorial in the Imphal, the capital city. वहां पर जो है वहां पर क्या करते हैं वो उसको जला देते हैं. And thereafter what happens is again now cookies are getting angry. So they start targeting the Meitei communities. So violent groups from both communities start, we can say that, killing each other's, raiding each other's villages in the Manipur. This is how violence escalates from this event. From this event, the violence escalates. You should be knowing this sequence of events. On 4th May itself, the state head of police, वहां के जो DGP है वो बोलते हैं कि central government has invoked Article 355. Although there is no official confirmation by the central government, ठीक है, by the central government regarding invoking Article 355. Now these are the emergency provisions, and in emergency provisions we know that central government gets more powers over the state administration. Okay, and ये हमें समझना है कि it is just internal matter within the government, that decision was taken in a secret manner and official recognition is not given to this decision. ठीक है, ये कोई भी PIB पे कहीं पे भी ऑफिशियल स्टेटस पे नहीं आया है. सो वी कैनॉट राइट दिस दैट द गवर्नमेंट इन्वोक्ड आर्टिकल 355 इन आंसर. ठीक है, तो ऑल्दो देयर आर वेरी आर्टिकल्स रिटन ऑन द वायर, द प्रिंट, कि ये जो आर्टिकल 355 इन्वोक करने की बात हुई है तो दिस इज अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बिकॉज द गवर्नमेंट हैज नॉट एक्सेप्टेड दिस. ये सारी चीजें फाइन. देयर आफ्टर व्हाट हैपेंस इज curfew imposed in almost all state. Okay, then armed forces, police were given more powers. Already AFSPA in place in Manipur. ये सारी चीजें आपको पता होनी चाहिए. Okay, so that means these events have created simply one. We should understand that the violence that has happened here, that led to what has happened because of this violence? Loss of life of the people, or we can say loss of trust in administration. Thereafter there has been instances of sexual violence against women. We are aware about the viral video of the cookie woman being paraded and we violated, we can say the dignity of the women has been violated. Supreme Court has taken the suo motu cognizance of the event incident that had happened. ये सारी चीजें आपको पता होनी चाहिए यहाँ पर. Okay. Thereafter, you should be knowing loss of trust in administration. Why? Because the cookie people have some allegations towards the administration that the people who are there in administration belong to Meitei community and they are biased in the action. See, this is very important. The role of state being neutral entity. ठीक है, हम ethics में भी पढ़ते हैं ये. The civil servant should be neutral. Although they may be belonging to one particular community there. बट अगर स्टेट बायस्ड वे में एक्ट करता है तो स्टेट जो है वो उसका जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में रोल दिया हुआ है दैट इज वायलेटेड हियर. ओके, यस आई विल बी ट्राइंग टू स्पीक इन इंग्लिश ओनली. ठीक है, can't understand English, so I'm not ठीक है, I'm not that English person from YouTube. ठीक है, जो mix करता है, so I'm not mixing that. I'm repeating in Hindi. I'm trying to tell in both languages. Okay, so whatever I'm teaching in English as well as in few words. I will be speaking same things in the Hindi also. Fine. So loss of trust happens because the administration, those officers belonging to the administration, they were acting in a biased manner. And that creates feeling of distrust or loss of trust. Why? Because they feel that these people are not going to help us. Administration is not going to help us. Loss of trust. And that's why they take the arms in their hands. What happened thereafter? The people from both communities started guarding their villages by themselves, including women. Women came out and they started guarding the villages or their own communities. Okay, so this is the situation there. Thereafter, we can say that loss of, we can say, okay, instead of loss of, we can say that threat to security in Northeast, already volatile state. So we can say that these are some of the consequences, because we were talking about the developments. I have talked about the consequences immediately, but let's talk about the causes now. If you see the internal security PYQs, generally the questions come from causes or determinants or factors responsible for growth of Naxalism, determinants of Naxalism, causes for growth of Naxalism. Second part of question is like consequences. Okay, impact. Third part generally is like challenges to deal that particular threat in internal security. Fourth part is what measures being taken by the government. And fifth part will be the solution that is expected further, because government measures have some limitations. Take any PYQ, you will fit that in these five. Okay, internal security, very straightforward questions. Now here causes, if you talk about the root cause, you should know is basically the socio-economic conditions. Although the immediate cause is High Court judgment. जैसे हम 1857 में पढ़ते हैं that 1857 revolt, the immediate cause was different, the root cause was different, right? so here also you should know that the main cause is socio-economic conditions of these communities. Okay, the kind of poverty, unemployment, the scarcity of resources that is there. So basically that is creating some problem there. I will talk about this, but the immediate cause we can say High Court ruling that provided some tipping point that has resulted into this violence. Okay, so High Court ruling, and this creates some insecurity in the minds of the minority community, we can say, within that state, that is Kukis living in the hills. And they started protesting against this ruling. But the socio-economic conditions and scarcity of resources. Why? You should know that Kukis, they are forest living, hill living people, and they have been removed from their lands because of some stringent forest rules in Manipur. Forests have been their land source of livelihood. Okay, so they were dependent on this, and this resource has been taken out from them, Kukis. Second important scarcity of resources for Meiteis. You should know here that Meiteis are, we know that plain living people, and there is increase in population of Meiteis, and this population is acting as a burden on the existing resources in the valley or plains. Second thing is that there is increase in illegal immigrants living in the plains, be it from Bangladesh or across the border. Third important thing you should be knowing here, that there is some kind of problems with the laws in Manipur, that the land can be bought by Kuki people in the plains. But Meitei people cannot buy land in the hills region. Getting this? So this actually creates the scarcity of resources for both communities, and they are fighting for resources basically. रूट कॉज आई एम टॉकिंग. ठीक है, जब पेट पे बात आती है ना, तो फिर इंसान को सबसे ज्यादा गुस्सा आता है. When it comes or it boils down to the daily livelihood and the 2 times food that the people are not able to afford, then such kind of anger is sin. Are you getting this? Okay, so now along with that, of course, there are, we can say that, ethnic and cultural differences. Okay, and they are very sensitive about their cultural identity, especially the hill living tribal people, Kukis and Nagas. They are very sensitive about the cultural identity, and they feel that if suppose they are interfering with each other, then the loss of cultural identity will create some kind of problem. Okay, so intermingling is very less among those communities. So kind of trust is not there, even though they are living in the same state. Okay, so you can talk about this. Then you can talk about illegal refugees across the border. This refugee issue is also recently in Myanmar. What had happened across the border in Myanmar, the Chins who are living there, they are facing some kind of violence by the state, and these people crossed the border because our border forces allowed them. You should know that we follow open policy across the Myanmar border up to 16 kilometer, open access for trade purpose and all these things, because across the border ethnic similarities are there. The people, okay, so the people from same family lives across the border. You should know about this. Ethnic similarities across the border, and that's why they are allowed to cross the border for even trade purpose or meeting their family members or like that. But the refugees, they came around 400 refugees in last few months. They entered, they are living there in the refugee camps. Now, this acts as a burden on the resources of the government, and the people of Manipur started protesting this. Okay, this is one of the factor that instability is there. And we know that the past insurgency by the insurgent groups, especially the violent insurgent groups of Kuki community. Now, they got chance. Okay, they got chance. They are now exploiting this vulnerability of the society or community there. Okay, now these insurgent groups are becoming active. They are actually illegally transporting these arms. They have looted the police stations and they have taken control over the arms there. And now they are actually dominating the communities there. Okay, so and they are actually brainwashing the people, youth. ये सारी चीजें वहां पे आती है. Okay, so you should be knowing that the root cause, the immediate cause, and the other factors that are responsible for such kind of violence. Now let's talk about the analysis part quickly. If you have doubt in between, you can ask. Okay, online students. So when the question says analyze, we should go much deeper there to analyze all these factors. Now, when the violence broke out here, what was the responsibility of the administration of the state? To control that violence, but the state failed. Failure of administration to control the violence. Violence continued for more than 1 month. How this can happen? Can you imagine this happening in any of the state in the mainland India? Any of the state? It's not possible. Okay, everything, all country will be concerned. Everyone on social media will say that what is happening there, and the government will take immediate actions. Now, this is some kind of, उसको क्या बोलते हैं हम हिंदी में, सौतेला ट्रीटमेंट होता है ना वो. Okay, so basically one should know that the central government has responded very late and the state administration was acting in a biased manner, and that's why people were not trusting the state administration. Basically, the state failed to control the violence. So, in analysis part, you should talk about this. The role of the administration or state is to maintain the law and order. Protect life of the people and dignity of the people. Ensure rule of law. Ensure rule of law. This all three aspects the state failed here, administration, and there was, we can say, delayed response, allegations of biased actions, you should analyze in this manner. You should analyze in this manner. First thing. Second important thing is you can talk about yes, in analysis you talk about socio-economic conditions of the people. Already in causes we are talking about this in detail. We talked about socio-economic conditions of both Meitei community as well as Kuki community. One of the important problem now is internet shutdown. Internet shutdown. Now, whenever there is violence or law and order situation, what is the first response nowadays administration is taking? Cut the internet. So the government or administration feels that no one is going to send the inflammatory messages or some violent videos, inflammatory speeches on the internet, and there will be cooling down of situation. Okay, this is, we call it passive response, defensive response usko bola jata hai. Okay, so proactively the government is not coming out and reaching out to the communities. So internet shutdown is having some positive but largely negative impact. How? What is happening to the people of Manipur? There is loss of communication. Truth is suppressed. Media is not able to show what is happening in Manipur. Okay, internet ही नहीं है. Of course, no one is going to, let's say, no one is able to reach out the people, larger masses. Then the problem with, we can say that governance. If the internet is banned or internet is shut down, what about governance? The basic services that is being provided by the administration, complete failed. Okay, so internet shutdown is having these negative impact, and we are aware what is happening, even including UPSC aspirants. Look at their conditions. Without internet nowadays, can you prepare for any competitive examination? This is the situation, and that's why we should know, like, impact on education. You can talk about that. Education of youth. Okay, so this is also one of the important factor you should talk about in analysis part. Thereafter, you can talk about threat to internal security. Now, I wanted to focus on this. Although the topic is having wider implications, wider, we can say, relevance to our syllabus, but from the internal security point, we know that Manipur is a border state. Already there has been some kind of insurgency problem going on. APSPA is already in place. Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958. Okay. So this one. Thereafter, we are aware about the ethnic similarities across the border, and this has been exploited by some antisocial elements or anti-state or non-state actors for illegal, activities, smuggling of arms, drugs, or even human trafficking, illegal wildlife trade. All these things are happening across the border, and such kind of instability within the state, when violence occurs, these activities gets boost. Okay, and this threatens internal security of the country. Try to understand. Generally, we are not able to link how internal security is affected. When the state is already volatile and there is increase in violence because of such, let's say, community conflict, then these activities are boosted, and that threatens the overall security in Northeast, and specifically and in general of the country. So you talk in analysis in this manner. Fine. Now, what is the solution here? Let's first talk about what government is doing. Immediately what government did is curfew all along the state. Thereafter, use of armed forces. Okay, security forces, they entered into the state and they tried to maintain the law and order through force now. Already APSPA was in place, now more force entered into the state. Okay, the people of Manipur, they are actually concerned about the kind of human rights violations had happened because of armed forces under APSPA. Okay, and now we know about what is Sharmila Arom. So she had fasted for how many years? For 15-16 years she fasted for this APSPA, to remove APSPA from that region. So we are aware about this. Thereafter the government formed the Peace Committee, where the members were like Chief Minister and the members from both communities, prominent members, leaders from both communities. They were part of this peace committee, but to large extent it failed because violence, it still continued. Still there has been sporadic instances of violence in different parts of Manipur. So to some extent it has failed. So what should be the measures now? Yes, you suggest now measures. आपने पढ़े होंगे बहुत सारे न्यूज़पेपर में, जल्दी जल्दी बताइए क्या. What should be the measures to deal with this issue? Yes, Siva, good to see you after so long time.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
So actually, we need to go for conciliation between community group heads as well as the local leaders. That is the main issue to clashes between two communities. There is some areas that need to be increasing in the leaders of local leaders.
Okay. Okay, collaborating with the communities. The administration should reach out to the leaders, representatives of both communities, and along with that, collaborating with these communities to overcome the hostilities. At present, the hostilities are there. Okay, so this is one of the problem. Collaborating with them, administration can do better. Then through effective communication. Now, effective communication, एक साइड पे इंटरनेट बैन कर दिया है, वी हैव बैंड द इंटरनेट शटडाउन, एंड ऑन अदर साइड वी वांट इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन. That means local administration should come out and reach out to the people and create some kind of sense of security among the minds of the people. Sense of security. This is very, very important. Once there is sense of security, then the people will come out of their houses, their villages, and do live the normal life. And this is responsibility of the administration, government, sense of security. How they can do? By reaching out to the people through effective communication, and this is we can say. Then many people actually fled the villages and are living in the relief camps. So more number of relief camps as an immediate measure, and appropriate basic amenities like food, shelter, and we can say medicines, everything should be provided to all these people, and on long term they should be rehabilitated. Again, some kind of financial help should be provided to them, because their houses are completely torched in the fire by the community, other communities. So of course there should be some need of financial help from the government. Thereafter, there should be we can talk about border security. Border security should be beefed up. When such kind of violence happens, that means internal, let's say, stability has been affected, then there should be appropriate vigilance across the border, because the non-state actors from the neighboring states should not exploit this situation. Okay, so border vigilance by the border security forces, this should be beefed up. Thereafter, government schemes and programs. Implementing this is going to help both communities. This is going to reduce the problem of scarcity of resources. Okay, so what government, even central government has last year in the government budget, they have announced PM Divine scheme, Prime Minister's Development Initiative in Northeast. Okay, so this is going to help in infrastructure building, that will promote more and more economic activities. There are other government schemes especially related to agricultural marketing and processing. Agriculture related, there are many schemes, and we should focus on this government schemes and programs and development, economic growth and development of Northeast region. So when this is promoted, the problem, the root cause that we talked, socio-economic conditions, in long term that will be addressed. In long term that will be addressed. Okay, so when there are ethnic and cultural dissimilarities, there is always need of, bringing the leaders, representatives of these communities on the common table, and there should be discussion, negotiation, conciliation among these communities. Okay, so the problems can be solved through dialogue. Okay, all these hostilities, mistrust, distrust, what we call it, all things can go when there is dialogue by the government with the people among themselves, the communities among themselves. So that should happen. And of course, the concerns related to the representation by one community in the administration, and we can say that that proportionate representation in the administration should be ensured. And of course, there is some kind of concern related to High Court ruling, although let's see what government is going to do next. Okay, it's not finalized yet, no. So let's see what happens about the ST status and what happens in future. But on the broader lines, we can say that this should be. So the question can come in the, yes, cultural exchange program should be there. Of course, there must be many such cultural exchange program within the state. Okay, educational universities, and they must be having such kind of, it should be promoted. Then along with that, the question, yes, I was talking about question can come in internal security part. Thereafter, the question can be there as a part of case study in ethics paper. Let's say such kind of violent incidents has happened, and you are the district collector or district magistrate there in that one of the violence hit district. How do you manage that situation? What will be your course of action? There can be such kind of case study. So you do the brainstorming activity, because this is going to provide you course of action. Okay, so be prepared for such kind of question. Now, any question from your side from this topic?
From Monday onwards in Haryana and the Delhi border, Gurgaon also is going to change ethnic categories between two communities.
That is not ethnic, that is communal.
Yes, communal.
Ha.
But the central government and the state government has taken immediate action. Whatever the action has been taken within 3 days, that much of administration and force has been taken in the northeast area. Today, CJ also has been strongly given warning to forces and been taken without any. There is no any law and order issue. There is no any law and order in that state. What is the reason behind that? Here to capital city happen, they are going to be action immediately. But
I told you now, the people of Northeast feel that the central government has always given step-brotherly treatment to all those. Step-brotherly treatment, you get this, no? Right? So, we have not considered them as our people largely. This is the main problem. Okay, the kind of development levels that we see on the mainland India, for every state you take the example, there are always, at least capital cities of every state, in mainland India, you can see that almost each kind of same level of development is there. But if we see Northeast India, there is drastic change. Okay. And yes, of course, the non-state actors have exploited this feeling. The way they have exploited from the central India, Naxalism. The kind of feeling that people have towards the government, that is exploited by the non-state actors. This results into threat to internal security. Insurgency in Northeast India, Naxalism in Central India, and militancy in Jammu and Kashmir. Root cause is same. Getting this? Yes, other questions?
Sir, one more thing, sir. Today it has been said, sir, there is no any law and order issue, failure of police and the defense services. Whatever the standard measures they are taking, border country standards, sir, to maintain to protect the border of India, but that much of standard measures they are not taking within the some of the state internal systems. They are taking highly standards in the border of country, but they are not taking some highly standard within the internal state. That is the main issue of has been increasing this issue.
See, one should know that for internal security challenges, we cannot use force. The problems can be solved through development activities only. The soft approach is the long-lasting approach, or we can say major. But when we use force against our people, they are our people. That is the main problem. Okay. When we talk about border, those who are crossing the border illegally, they are not our people. So we can use force. Okay. This is actually the philosophy. State is not going to use force against its own people. We should be very clear, and that's why the government is very soft generally when we come across these challenges. Jammu and Kashmir या बाकी भी जो challenges की बात करते हैं, right? So, right, what is your question, Kartikeya? The illegal migrants from Myanmar, are they from Kukis or Meiteis? No, they are actually having the similar ethnic similarities of Kukis. Okay, they are from Chin community, and Kuki Chins are having similar ethnic origins. Okay, so they are not from India, but they are having similar ethnicity. Okay, when this becomes sensitive issue in Manipur especially, Mizoram and Manipur, this becomes sensitive issue because all of these are having some kind of same ethnic origin. They are having different tribal people, but same ethnicity.